So, it's taken me a long time to understand this knowledge that I'm literally about to drop on probably a lot of questions you have on how the world works if you clicked on some sort of video like this, because I've been sitting here in Bali for like the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like in this room, sort of meditating on it, building a relationship with God, things like that. And you might be thinking, oh, 3 weeks, it's not that long to understand how the world works. But over the last 2 years, I've really sat at a desk and really looked at a computer and been like, what to do, how to do things like that. And what I finally came to realize is it's never been about how. Anyone that ever tells you that it's about how or what to do, they're lying to you. Well, they're not lying to you, but they're hiding the real truth from you, and it's about who. It's never been about how. Because when you truly break it down to its fundamental levels, you could put two people in the same spot. And if they've got different beliefs, and make them take the same action. If the person, one, doesn't believe that that action is going to lead to the result, then they will not get it. Why? Because they're not in the right frequency, they're not in the right energy, they're not putting the right energy out into the world, right? Their beliefs aren't in alignment with the goal that they're trying to achieve, whereas the person that does believe that that action will cause the result to happen, then it will happen for them. So that's why people will come on here, and there's probably fucking 10 million videos of people saying how to make money online, how to get in shape, keto, carnivore, whatever diet it is that you're looking at, whatever workout split, specific high rocks, training, all of it doesn't matter. None of it fucking matters. They all work. All of them, every single solitary one of them work. It's not the new secret method. It's not the new secret how to make money online. There's no new fucking secret. And that's what I fell into the trap on for so damn long. Because it's never been about how. It's never been about what. And this is going to make so much sense. Because when you realize, and when I finally fucking realized, we are finite. We are finite. Right? Basically what that means is that we don't have the ability to do whatever. Let's take flying for example. We can't fly. We can't force ourselves to fly. But there is an alternate reality version of us that can, in a parallel universe. And this is going to sound really crazy, especially if you clicked on this video. But it's going to make sense as well. But in the esoteric, I believe, there is an argument and there is a theory that any desire, any dream that you have is actually real, and it's an alternate version of you that is capable of doing it. And I use flying as an example, but in its truest form, it's true. Why? Because God is infinite. And I'm not here to push a certain God on you. I'm not here to push a specific God on you or anything like that. Whoever you deem to be the higher power, whatever you deem to call him, her, or it, whatever you deem to call God, God, whatever makes you believe the most, that's all I care about. As long as you believe in a higher power, this is going to make sense to you. Because God is infinite. Right? And God gives you those dreams. God gives you those realities that you think of. Right? And then the esoteric, basically what that is aligning your thoughts with the desired reality that you want. The reality that you know that you can create. That's already created. Actually, you don't create it, it's already created. Although technically you do create it because God created it, and God is actually within you, right? Because God's infinite, so technically he's infinitely in every single solitary one of you watching this, right? And it took me a long time to realize that, but that is why you get these downloads. That is why, well, that's what I like to call them, downloads. My mentor Andreas Lifts, he put me onto all of this, by the way, so go watch his YouTube, things like that. He's an absolutely phenomenal guy. But in its truest form, these downloads, these random ideas, these things that you get out of nowhere, these dreams that you want, that you think that you can have, it's because you fucking can. It's because you can have every single solitary one of them. The amount of money that you want to make, the job, the dream career, whatever it is that you want out of your life, you could literally have it. Because you are actually infinite when you come to understand that God is within you. God is within you because he's infinite, like I just said. Right? And then what happens is you'll have a pulsing dream in your heart, like a deep desire down in your heart. And what that is basically an electromagnetic field. And basically, electro is your mind, and the magnetic is your heart, right? Your heart is technically the magnet out of the electromagnetic. And the electro part of the electromagnetic field, it's a bit of a tongue twister, is your mind, because your mind is sending chemical neurotransmitters as signals, right? So your mind is no different, for example, to a Wi-Fi modem, right? It receives downloads, just like your mind does. Your mind receives these thoughts, these ideas, and then what happens is that we give emotion to these thoughts, right? But the thing is that if you give a thought and emotion, that's the only time that it matters, right? Because emotion is energy in motion, which is the language of God, right? The language of God is emotion, right? And I'll put the map of consciousness up here. Basically the stress, anxiety, things like that. And then you go into the higher consciousness and gratitude, love, things like that. But most people, they're stuck down here in this lower field, right? Of the map of consciousness, the survival paradigm. And what keeps people here isn't necessarily, although that is why they program porn, that is why they program things out there like that, like drinking, drugs, all that sort of thing, why they do like pills, things like that, big pharmaceutical companies. That's why they do them, because they want to keep you in this low frequency survival paradigm state, right? When you're constantly worried about bills, when you're constantly stressed, when you're constantly anxious. That's why people from a young age, they'll tell them that they're depressed, they'll tell them that they have anxiety, when reality is they don't. But if you can make someone believe that they do, then that's them for the rest of their life, from a young age, right? And basically, they keep people in this survival paradigm because they don't want people to find out the truth, that God is infinite, and God is within you, and God is real. So every dream, every goal, every fucking thing that you have in your head right now, it is yours. It is yours, and it got given to you as a gift. Not even as a gift, but as a literal reality that you can have. And it took me so fucking long to come to understand this. I could sit here and talk for hours and hours about this stuff. Why? Because it matters. Right? That is why some people, they'll go to get in shape, for example. They'll literally go to get in shape, right? But they don't believe that they're the type of person to go get in shape. That's why it's never been about how, it's never been about what, it's never been about the thing that you need to learn, because you've already got it within you. You already know how, you already know what to do, for example, to get in shape. You eat good, clean foods, right? You go to the gym and you might walk. That's literally the habits that you need, but you aren't going to stick to it if you don't believe that it works. That is why people can create keto diet. That is why people can create carnivore diet. That is why people can create whatever diet it is that you believe to be true, or people believe to be true, is because people want something new to believe. People want something new to think that it's real, that will work for them, that this one's the one. But it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. As long as you believe it to be true. Whatever your beliefs are about the world will always reflect back to you. If you have a shitty life, then that will reflect back to you. It is literally your fault. If you have shit thoughts, if you have negative emotions constantly running through your thoughts, and stuck in this survival paradigm that I was talking about earlier, if you're constantly thinking like that, if you're constantly in this thought of like stress, anxiety, you're tired all the time, you eat shit food, you smoke, you drink, you do all these shit things that you know we shouldn't do as men, you don't have any anxiety, you don't have depression. All you have is a fucking shit life. And I know a lot of people won't agree with that. A lot of people are like, oh, it was this and that, it was this and that. No, it's not. You are the cause. Your mind is the cause. Reality is the effect. That's literally it. And I say this because I love you, and I say this because I care about you, and I say this because I took so fucking long, because I used to drink, I used to do drugs, I used to party, I used to do all that negative shitty crap, and it kept me in a survival paradigm for so long. But Even in saying that, when I started working out, things like that, I got in really good shape. But then I still went back to the survival paradigm, just in a different way. I was still stressed, still anxious, because I was constantly worried about money. That was the next thing that I worried about. Right? Until I came to realize that God is infinite. 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 And when you realize that, you go, holy shit. When you truly come to understand exactly what I'm fucking saying right now, you go, holy shit. God is literally infinite. And if God's in you, which he is because he's infinite, or whatever you believe to be true about God, the higher power, literally, if you believe that to be true, which it is, then you are infinite, which means you can do whatever the fuck you want. And then all you have to do, I don't know exactly how the quote goes, but it's something like, ye shall ask and the kingdom will give to you, or something like that. I'll put up a quote. But basically, if you ask, and because you're infinite, you will give it to yourself. When you come to understand that, it's already yours. It's already yours. All you have to come to understand is that mentally, that it's yours. Spiritually, that it's yours. Why? Because God's infinite, God's in you, and you have the mind to believe that it's possible because God's infinite. Right? And when you have these ideas in the mental plane, then you align the spiritual plane, and then you just hold the belief in your head without it needing to happen to reality because it's already happened in your subconscious mind. Then you keep smiling, and reality will smile back at you. Reality will give you everything that you fucking want. Everything that you need. Everything that you allow yourself to have in your life. Reality will give that to you as long as you've already decided it's yours in your head, mentally, and align with the fact that God will give it to you, and you get out of your own fucking way and you just walk the path that God gives you. That is literally the hack, the cheat code, the thing that you've been looking for. You determine your identity. You determine who. It's never been about how. It's never been about what. It's always been about who, brother. Always. Always been about who you are becoming and who you already are in your head mentally. And then God will give you the path for you to walk. You get out of your own way. And he will lay the path. He will lay the actions right in front of your very eyes. And I promise you, everything in your life that you want, it will be laid out right in front of your very eyes. As long as you've already decided mentally that it's yours. Because it is. Because it is. You're infinite. Brother. I could talk so long and I'm going to make so many videos on this sort of stuff. But man, just decide mentally. That's all you fucking have to do. Every single distraction that they put out there, porn, drinking, drugs, things like that. But that's why you still see people that drink, do drugs, porn, all that. That's why you still see them be successful, because they've aligned their frequency, they've aligned their energy with the money that they want to make, with the things that they want to make. Right? So it is still possible in its truest form. But what you need to understand is that mainly all those things that I was talking about, they are put out there as distractions to stop you from uncovering the real truth, which is that you already can create, and your reality that you want to live already exists. The amount of money, the abundance that you want to have, it already exists. The physique that you want to have, it already exists. Right? And you know it. But all these distractions, they're put out there in the universe by the elites to keep you exactly where you are. Exactly where you are. In the survival paradigm. But I don't want that for you. And I don't give a fuck anymore. I genuinely care about you. I care about your goal. I care about your relationship with God. I care about you uncovering your truth. Because my truth isn't always going to be in alignment with your truth. But the underlying premise here is that there's 3 planes. And the only plane that you think that you see is the physical. But the physical reality that you see out here, it only makes up 0.0035% of what you can actually fucking see. The rest is mental. The rest is spiritual. And basically, the gap between here and like here, for example, you can't see any of that, but there's still things there. There's still formless substance there. And that is the part that you get to create. And I'm not going to try to explain that because, you know, it seems difficult. But these are the parts that you get to fill in. You get to fill in the gap. That's it. Your goal is sitting right here, right in front of your very eyes. You just can't see it. But when you build a relationship, so let's say, like this, that gap, your goal is sitting right in between you and here, right? You just can't see it because it's in the mental plane and it's on the spiritual plane. And when you come to understand that, then you can see it. And you do this by meditation. You do this by diving within. But that's why they keep you distracted. It's because if they can keep you on your phone, if they can keep you watching TV, if they can keep you on your laptop, if they can keep you working, things like that. If they can keep you doing all these things, watching porn, drinking, drugs, all of it, then it stops you going from within. Because it's within as without. Right? So your internal state of being creates the outer. How you see the world, how you view the world, is how you're feeling on the inside. The inside creates the reality. What they've made you believe is that your reality creates your reality. It is bullshit. It's bullshit. You go internally first, and you do that through meditation. Right? The reason that you're stuck, the reason that you're in this survival paradigm like I used to be, doing the drinking, doing the drugs, doing the partying, all that sort of stuff, porn, all of it, scrolling on your phone, things like that, working a job you hate. The reason that they keep you there and they keep you distracted is because they're trying to show you that reality creates reality, but an effect can't cause an effect. The only thing that can cause an effect is a cause, and the cause comes mentally. Mentally. Remember that. Every single action you take, you made a decision to take that action. Right? So your mind is the cause and the reality is an effect. If you're stressed, if you're anxious, if you're in this survival paradigm, which all those things I said before, porn, drinking, drugs, worrying about money, stressing, anxiety, all of those, they're designed to keep you there so that you don't go within, so that you're constantly distracted and you can't change your outer being because you can't even control your inner being. And it took me so fucking long to realize this. But hopefully now that you've watched this video, you do. It all starts in the mind. And I never understood that. Always thought, mindset, whatever. But it genuinely all starts in here. Mental, then allowing God to give you the path for you to walk on to whatever dream reality it is that you have in your head that you've just created mentally. You have the spiritual plane after the mental plane. And then and only then, after you allow God to go to work because He's infinite and lay the path out in front of you, only then does reality smile back at you. And you can have everything that you've ever fucking wanted once you've decided it mentally and you've given God, you've given the infinite the allowance to create the path for you. Got much more to come. But that's it for tonight. See you next time.